Hey guys, welcome, 20.4, happy Halloween. Chef Sam, obviously I don't have a chef's hat today, but I do have a crown, and Brian's my partner with our trident. We make one merman together.
One merman.
Anyways, so let's get on to more important things. 20.4, new workout, some new movements, so I'm gonna go through it. It's 4 time with a 20-minute time cap, 30 box jumps at 20 inches for females, 24 for males, 15 clean and jerk, doesn't specify squat or power, 95 for men, 65 for women, 30 box jumps, 15 clean and jerk, 135 for men, 85 for women, 30 box jumps, 10 clean and jerk, 185 for men, 115 for women, 30 pistols. They also call it a single leg squat, which is essentially a pistol. 10 clean and jerk, 225 for men, 145 for women, 30 pistols, 5 clean and jerk, 275 for men, 175 for women, 30 pistols, 5 clean and jerk at 315 for men, 205 for women, which was the heaviest barbell last week in 20.3, which is pretty stout. And obviously go to the website, look at the details of this because it's a lot and it's important to look it over and make sure you got everything dialed. But why don't you first tell me what you thought when you saw this? I'm curious.
I liked the setup because it was a little bit different than what we've seen, and I love that it sucks the legs out of you and you have to navigate. So it's about the seconds on this one.
Yeah.
Knowing your barbell battery, knowing what your tempo needs to be on the box jump, so you can't go into this, go hard, and expect to come out with a good score.
Totally.
Yep.
And I like that they're adding a little bit more load to try to separate people. This is because those last 2 barbells are very stout, and I think it's really going to separate people when you are that fatigued, especially in the legs. How great is your battery, and also what's your potential with the lift, because it's going to be challenged. If your max clean and jerk is 315 as a guy, you're going to have to say a nice prayer to hopefully get that up.
The top, if you look at the numbers at 315 and 205, is still going to be 90% of the elites in the top of the field.
Yep.
Right? So know your 1RMs going into this, and you can get an idea of what you'll be able to touch. And outside of your 1RMs and knowing your percentages, you're going to be in a fatigue state with no legs. So that's the situation you're going to be on as soon as you get to those last 2 barbells, so just be prepared for that.
So some notes, and of course all this stuff will be in the prep guide, so please view it to get more detail, because we are going to be a little bit more brief so we don't drag on the video for half an hour. But obviously on the box jump, it hasn't been in the open since 2015, I believe. So back then you could step up, and you can step up this year as well, so that's important. You can't turn your box though, because back then you could turn it at an angle, and the distance for the rep would be a little shorter, and you could cycle it quicker. So pay attention to that. You can't turn it, but you can step up. And for some people, that might be a great strategy to kind of save them for all the clean and jerks and potentially pistols they have to do. So that's something to keep in mind. Pistols, which is a very demanding movement, can be very hard for a lot of people, especially with fatigue. So we're going to make a note to really emphasize opening up your ranges in your ankle and your hip in the warm-up, so that when you get into the workout, you feel as confident as possible for that pistol, because you don't want to get in there and start no-repping or missing the rep, or just having a bad experience when you get to that. You want to be prepared and hopefully do your best with that movement. So keep that in mind. You can power clean or squat clean, so that's something to keep in mind too, based on your strengths, because some people are better at power cleaning and some are better at squat cleaning. So in the warm-up, which we talk about in the guide, you're going to want to warm that up based upon what you think you're going to be leaning towards as you reach kind of the heaviest barbell that you might get to. And no miss reps. I think that's one of the big notes that I would emphasize for everyone, because you did see Sean Sweeney on the open announcement. He missed 1 rep at 315, and that was the one he didn't do that would have finished the workout. So you need to be patient, especially with the heavier barbells for you, to make sure you aren't wasting energy. Because if you clean it, good for you, but that doesn't count as a rep. You have to jerk it. So you need to be patient with those heavier barbells and allow yourself a little bit more rest between reps as needed, which I'll talk about in the avatars, which I'm going to go into right now. Segueing. So I kind of made 3 avatars There we go. The first group would be people who the pistols are going to be challenging. Like you're going to get to the pistol, and that's like the mountain you see in this workout. You're like, oh, great, I got to do pistols. I don't do them. I got tight ankles. I hate them. Okay, well that's unfortunate, but here we go. We're going to challenge ourselves there. It might be good for you to step up on the box jump. Only reason I say that is it could open the hip. It could keep your breathing and energy at a stable level through the first few barbells and 90 step-ups to when you get to the pistol, your hip and ankle might be a little bit more open, you might be a little bit more collected, and then you might be able to perform the rep with a little bit more precision and actually get a few reps going where your brain starts to connect the movement, and now you can kind of chip through them a little bit better. So maybe for you in this group, you want to be a little bit more patient through the beginning half so that when you get to the pistol, you have a lot of brain power, we'll say, to be able to navigate through that. That doesn't mean you're going to magically do them, but it's just, we're stacking our chips to hopefully get through some of these. So in your warm-up, you need to spend as much time, as much mobility wad or voodoo floss, whatever you got to do to open up your ankles, your hip, really ensure your glutes are warm because that's going to help with ankle dorsiflexion. Really open that up because that's going to allow you to just feel as best as possible in that bottom range. The second group I kind of figured would be those that are limited by the 225, 145 bar or the 275, 175 bar. So you're not going to finish because the loads are too heavy, but you're going to get to those heavier bars, and this is kind of like your workout, is you're going to get to those bars and you need great reps there. You want to warm up your clean and jerk well. You want to feel confident, potentially hitting those loads if that's on the high end for you so that your nervous system has that hit in the system and it's ready, so that when you get there and you receive the bar, your brain's going to know, like, okay, this is, I know what I'm doing. It's not a shock to the system when you get there. So warm that up well. You want to stay collected through the box jumps. You're not going to come out like a bat out of hell through the first 90 reps. You need to, you're going to move with some good intent, but if you start too quickly, you're going to get to the 225 or the 275 for the guys or the 145, 175 for females, and you're going to feel, I don't want to say out of breath, but you're not going to be composed. You're going to be, a little outside yourself. So you need to stay collected through the box jumps, which means you might step up or step down, You might jump up on the box, then you might step down, which is a strategy you can use. You're not going to lose time if you're not rebounding. Rebounding can work for some people, but it doesn't mean it's going to work for everyone. You got to have to know yourself, and you got to know where your limitation is going to be on this piece. And if your limitation is going to be that barbell, then you got to stay collected through those 90 reps, and stepping down each time, which will save your Achilles, could also give you a more stable base when you arrive to that barbell. So that would be my thoughts on that, along with don't shortchange your rest. You're going to get excited, have adrenaline going, you're going to want to get on the bar, but if you rush too quickly between reps, then you might fail a rep, and then now you've lost 45, 60 seconds easily to recharge your battery. So make sure you are resting enough to recharge your system for that heavier barbell. Be patient there. Yeah. And the hashtag no failed reps. And the last group would be those trying to finish the workout. Based upon what I saw with those guys in the announcement, you kind of need to move through the box jumps and the first 3 barbells with some good purpose. That doesn't mean you're rushing through them, but you have to move through them quickly. You have to remember that you're going to slow down and get some rest once you get into the heavier barbells, because you're going to have to slow it down a little. You can't cycle 275, 315, every 10 seconds. You're going to cycle it every, maybe 30 to 60 seconds, maybe longer. So you want to move a little bit quicker in the beginning. That could mean rebounding on the box jumps. I'm kind of on the edge on whether or not that's like a great strategy. I know Ben Smith did it, and he cycled it quicker and beat everyone, but I just don't know how much time it'll make of a difference. I don't know. We'll see. So I don't have like a set in stone answer for this group on what's the best approach. For some though, if you've rebounded and you feel confident with that, and you feel like it doesn't take a lot of energy out of you, then maybe that's the best play. But if somebody feels like that is too fast of a cadence versus the nice sequence of jumping, stepping down, then maybe you need to go that route. Wear lifters potentially. If you are somebody who always lifts and lifters and you're trying to finish this, then you're probably going to want to use them. I don't know, and I don't know for sure, but my gut is that I don't think it'll slow you down on the box jumps if you're wearing them from the beginning. I know Sean Sweeney put them on before the 315, I believe. And I mean, he probably wasted a minute, but he probably needed the minute to rest anyways. So it just kind of depends on, you know, how that last barbell is going to be for you. If it's something that you can attack, then maybe you just keep the lifters on the whole time. If it's, you know, you have to sit there and rest like a couple minutes before you get into it, then maybe you wear your normal shoes. You finish the second to last bar, you finish the pistols, you put on the shoes, the lifters, you collect yourself and you get after it. So I think that's a case-by-case basis. And again, same with you guys in this group, you can't shortchange your rest between reps. You can't fail reps. That's your motto. It's like, I want perfect reps, perfect execution. If that means you got to wait an extra 5-10 seconds, that's okay. Because if you miss one, that's going to cost you 45-60 seconds. And wasting 10 seconds of more rest is a lot better trade-off than wasting 45 to 60 seconds to do another rep. And then smooth pistols. You saw Ben, his were calm and collected. He wasn't racing through them. Find a nice rhythm and cadence and chip away at that. That's kind of all I got for avatars.
Yeah, guys, just to add in on the back end for the final group of avatars, to really hone in on this workout and execute, you're going to need to know your battery. So if you need to watch Ben Smith. Males, once we get some female videos in, we can give some insights, but make sure I have my numbers right. On 185, he had a 9-second battery, meaning that every time the bar hit the ground after a rep, within 9 seconds, it was back up off the floor. And then going into the barbells after that, he had an average of every 20 seconds. And it wasn't until the 315 bar, him being an experienced athlete, he knew he needed longer rests. So he pulled one from the floor, dropped it, shook his head, walked around, and that time he took a full minute recovery, right? So that is the pinnacle of an athlete that knows their battery, knows themselves very well and what they're capable of. So if you can get in some type of cadence and know the seconds that you need to rest in between those barbells, that's going to get you further into this workout than others.
I think quickly we'll go through prep and warm up and what that looks like. Of course, like every week, a good general blood flow warm up, getting blood to the periphery, lunges, step ups, the same thing pretty much. Double unders, air squat, kettlebell swing, just getting blood in and around the hips, nice and warm. Then moving into specific warm up prep for you. So again, if pistols are tough for you and you need to spend 20-30 minutes here, that's fine. Like, you don't want to start this workout without feeling confident about your pistol position. Like, that needs to feel confident, along with your overhead, because you're going to be doing 60 jerks, ideally, if you finish the workout, and you want that shoulder to overhead portion to be really crisp and smooth. So opening the T-spine, your lats, your front rack, make that really open. You don't want to rush this one and just get into it and have each rep feel a little bit more challenging than it needs to be, because it's going to add up on you. Then you're going to move into a CP hit, which will be a tough single in the clean and jerk. And again, if you're in the power clean group, then it's going to be a power clean, split jerk, or push jerk, whichever one you prefer and which feels the best to you. Or if you're going to be squatting the heavier barbells, then I would suggest you prepare in the CP hit with a squat clean, split jerk, or push jerk, so your brain gets that pattern down, even though you're going to power clean the first few bars. And then we'll move into some specific pieces, which is essentially, rowing, some box jumps, clean and jerks, pistol, clean and jerk with ascending load. So you're just practicing kind of the cadence and sequence of movements and getting your pace and rhythm down before you get into the workout. And then you'll hit it, cool down. You got to flush the legs, because of course your legs are going to get beat up in this workout. So really make sure 15-20 minutes after flushing the legs on a salt bike, C2 bike, go for a walk. Yeah, you just got to clear the system, especially if you want to redo this one. And I definitely think this is a redoable workout.
For sure.
I mean, you can maybe even do it 3 times. It just depends how far you're going to get, and also how demanding pistols are for you, because those can be really draining on people's nervous system because of how challenging the movement is. So if you're someone that moves well and doesn't have a lot of limitations there, then you don't get to the last couple barbells, and you might be able to do this 3 times potentially. So definitely a redoable workout, but more case by case on how many times and you know, as always, it just depends. It's not like a general answer I can throw out there.
I think that's it.
That's it?
Yeah.
All right, well, best of luck, and we'll see you next week.